In an increasingly competitive and trust-sensitive insurance landscape, SBI General Insurance is not just focusing on transactional messaging but also emotional storytelling with Chuniye Bharosa, Apno Sa. Today with us we have Mr. Rathin Lahiri, Head of Marketing and CSR, SBI General Insurance. Let's speak with him and know more.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me on this.
Pleased to have you, sir.
Yeah.
So to begin with, please let us know a little bit about Chuniye Bharosa, Apno Sa, and what was the core consumer insight or marketing shift that prompted this evolution?
So in this category, the single biggest thing that consumers look for is trust. And with the SBI brand, we believe that we can own the whole platform of trust. And therefore, if you see even in our corporate branding, the baseline and what we stand for is Suraksha or Bharosa Dono,
yes,
which again is all about trust. And therefore, we said that since trust is the center of the plate proposition, what can we do to kind of own it? Because when a consumer is buying a health insurance policy or any other insurance policy for that matter, it's a long-term contract. He's buying it for 10 or 15 years. And in this, trust becomes the single biggest derivative.
Yes. And what made Pankaj Tripathi as the right choice for the face of the campaign?
Yeah. So, SBI is possibly the most powerful financial services brand in India. 1 in 3 people in India have a SBI bank account. As SBI General Insurance, we are very clear that, that from our mother brand, we can leverage this whole trust that is there with the brand. Equally, if you see our distribution that we have, which covers right from digital consumers, from our app, from partners like Policy Bazaar and so on,
yes,
to our banking relationships with private sector banks, with foreign banks, with our mother bank SBI, with our agent network, which is one of the vast and the widest across length and breadth of the country. We are catering to all kinds of customers. On a yearly basis, we acquire between 3 to 4 crore customers per year.
yes,
And they come from all stratas of society. And therefore, what we wanted was some person who kind of embodies, and is acceptable to this whole, customer segment that we have. We believe that Pankaj Tripathi has got certain values. His values of essentially being, a common man,
yes,
being acceptable to both the masses and also the youth, and also, let's say, far more upward kind of audiences. So he's acceptable to all kinds of segments. We wanted to kind of, more than a brand ambassador, showcase somebody who's a man like us, who represents the values that we do. And we thought that Pankaj Tripathi was, a very good fit for us.
Okay. Insurance still faces perception gap, especially around claims and transparency.
Right.
How has the campaign helped close that trust deficit?
Right. So our marketing approach is twofold. One part, and it's a very important part, is to emotionally connect with the customer. Why? Because that is the single biggest thing which will ensure that the customer kind of stays with us and continues with us over a 10 or 15 year, 20 year period. So that is one part. The second part of our approach is to talk of all the benefits that we provide via insurance, whether that we have over an 18,000 hospital network, whether that we have one of the best claim settlement ratios, whether that we do pre-authorization within 25 odd minutes versus 1 hour, which is the kind of norm set by IRDA. So our communication approach, like I said, is twofold. One is to kind of connect emotionally, and the second is, bring out all the functional and the other benefits that accrue to the customer by talking about, insurance. And this campaign, to my mind, helps us kind of strengthen the emotional bond even more strongly.
Okay. So beyond the awareness, what impact has the campaign delivered so far in terms of customer acquisition, engagement, or brand metrics? How are you measuring the ROI on emotionally led advertising?
Yeah. So what we do is we measure how our brand is performing on a typically on a quarterly to a 6 monthly basis, and we look at all the important parameters, right from awareness for the brand, which for us is very very high, consideration for the brand, which for us again is very very high. Uh, what we want to do is essentially strengthen the preference for the brand, which is why the emotional film, and also strengthen the recommendation for the brand. The results of this we will get once the campaign is done. But I can share with you some preliminary results, and I was just seeing this before I came on. Uh, in social media, we have reached over 250 million people. So that's a massive
Yes.
number of people across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so on. And I was looking at the engagement rates. The engagement rates are 20%, which I think is possibly one of the highest that one can get for a campaign like this. So we are very kind of happy with the feedback also that we've got from our sales team, from our agents, from customers in general. And like I said, the metrics on social media, especially if I take that, that's a really really kind of high engagement rate.
Okay. Insurance, India's insurance audience now also includes Gen Zs and cautious millennials and experienced policyholders. So, how are you adapting your communication to stay relevant across such diverse demographics?
Yeah. So for us, this is both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is exactly what you said, that being from the SBI brand, we are catering to all kind of segments of the customer. And you just mentioned age segments,
Yes.
right? So age is one of the criteria. The second one that we have is, let's say, language. So we have customers coming in from the northernest point of, let's say, Kashmir, to deepest places in Arunachal, to south, to west. So our customers are from all age segments. Our customers are from all pop stratas, and our customers are from all income statements. And therefore, whatever communication that we make has to be kind of aspirational and yet relevant for each of these segments. So how we kind of craft a communication is very very important. And here again, I think being digital has been a very very has really helped us kind of cater to these segments differently. So we have a, let's say, one general communication which happens, which is this campaign and television and other multimedia campaign that you see. But we are also using a lot of specific targeted campaigns to deliver contextual messages to each of these segments, to each of these product categories, in each of these multiple languages, and so on.
Okay. So you just spoke
Sure.
about how digital has helped you cater to all of these different kind of
Yeah.
audiences. So with digitally active users, how much of your current ad spends are dedicated to digital versus traditional? And in both of these, which levels do you prioritize more?
Yeah. So, like I said, in a brand campaign, our goal is not so much leads. Our goal is to, hit the brand metrics, connect with the customer emotionally, and form a stronger bond. And there we are using a lot of mass media, but even in mass media, we are using a lot of connected TV. In connected TV, that is allowing us to essentially, break up the media plan and target our specific focus markets with the exact number of impressions that we want to do, target the certain audiences that we want to do in a certain way. So even in a mass campaign today, via connected TV, via channels like YouTube and all, you can actually deliver a very very focused and targeted campaign, which helps you deliver the message in the markets that require the most.
Okay, so as much as we are becoming digitally aware, AI is also becoming a huge part of
Yeah.
almost everything that we do today. So, how is AI reshaping marketing in your perspective, and how is SBI General Insurance leveraging data and AI in targeting personalization, customer journeys to make communication more contextual and effective?
Right. So if you take the insurance category or the general insurance category as a whole, AI works on two fronts.
Yes.
One part is around communication, and the second part is actually around things like claim management and so on. So fundamentally, to my mind, what AI does is it is helping us deliver scale, it is helping us deliver speed,
Yes.
and it is helping us deliver contextual messages. These are the three broad things from a marketing point of view. So even today, because we are catering to, like I said, to between 3 to 4 crore customers on a yearly basis, our communication goes out in 16 different languages. So you can choose to get your policy in across 16 different languages. You can choose to get any renewal notices, any further communication, 16 different languages. So we are using AI to to speeden up any changes in our communication, to alter, tailor the communication that we are sending out, and that's actually helping us kind of speed up the process. The second part is, like I said, around contextual messaging to different segments. So even if I take the example of Pankaj Tripathi, we've also kind of shot a whole AI version of it, and therefore we can actually get him to talk about product benefits targeted to different segments differently. We can get him to upsell various product features to different product segments differently. So for example, if you and I both have taken the same policy, but I have, for example, not taken one particular benefit, let's say a restoration benefit, which allows, what it essentially allows is that if I've used up the policy for in that 1 year period, if I've taken the restoration benefit, it automatically restores and I can use it again, which is a very valuable feature if somebody has a critical illness. So then it's not a one-time heart operation, but suppose it's cancer or something, you have to go 2-3 times to the hospital and incur those expenses in one time. So I can actually use this whole Pankaj Tripathi persona and the communication to target people who have not taken the restoration benefit and deliver a message, and I can do that in all possible languages that I can. And if you've again not taken some other benefit, I could target you or segments like you to do that. So to my mind, like I said, AI, we are in the early stages, but we are already using it to speeden up the whole process, B, deliver scale, and 3, deliver contextual messages. So to my mind, these are the 3 benefits. If I look at the risk management side, in things like claims and so on, there's already AI tools being used to essentially speeden up the whole process. How does that work? If you take suppose your car has got banged up and it goes to a garage, you typically would take pictures and put it up on your app, or the agent would do that and kind of put it on the B2B app and send it to us. What we are able to do now, and what we do is, just do a fast screen through an AI filter, which actually quickly analyzes whether all the damaged pictures that are sent are genuine or not, and they kind of match with the case description that is given. If that is genuine, that case is immediately fast tracked, and that actually is helping us, providing the claim settlement faster. Because earlier I would have to wait for a surveyor report, he would come back, there'd be negotiation. Now AI is ensuring that, because there's a vast database of crores of such accident cases with pictures, whether that case is genuine or not, and that's actually helping us fast track all the genuine cases, and only the ones which are suspect are getting blocked. So this again is an example of using AI to actually improve the customer experience.
Okay. So as OTT, digital platforms and performance marketing are taking us center stage now.
Yeah.
So how has your media strategy evolved to balance storytelling with measurable outcomes? You know, BFSI is going big with the invisible marketing, discounts, and offers through apps. How is SBI using app to build better business, customer acquisition, and retention?
Yeah. So that's a
Elaborate
complete
question. Yes.
topic by itself. Let me kind of break it up
Yes.
as I understand it, right? So, like I said, uh, I genuinely believe that in a market like India,
Mhm.
in a category like BFSI, if you have to be a market leader, you have to have a omni-channel strategy.
True.
You cannot be only digital
Mhm.
because all customers are not digital,
Mhm.
right? So therefore, you need an omni-channel strategy which caters to both physical distribution and digital distribution. What digital offers and what one should definitely have, and what we also have, is that the customer buying experience and the customer payment experience and the customer renewal experience
Mhm.
has to be digital,
Okay.
right? So if you take the case of SBI General Insurance, we sell via a bank partner, so via Mother Bank, SBI, other bank partners, via aggregators like Policy Bazaar and so on, via our own website and app, via a very large agent network that we have. So we have multiple channels, right? And therefore, in a category like general insurance, where the penetration is still low, where people are still trying to figure out why they should take health insurance, they need to be kind of convinced. Even if they are convinced, they need to know that what are the exact benefits and features that they are buying. Otherwise, they may not buy the best product. Uh, so what we have essentially done is that a key part of our communication is actually to educate, empower even the B2B channel, because it is very important that the person who's selling and the person who's actually coming into contact with say 50, 100 customers a month knows all the benefits of the product, knows the differences between one product and the other. So B2B is a very large part. The second, like I said, is the direct to customer. Now, there I think the advantage that we have is that we are a large brand, uh, and like I said, customers are there from everywhere. What we assume is that even after somebody has been approached by an agent, he or she will actually go on Google and check as to what are the benefits of the product,
True.
right? And therefore, we end up doing a lot of, let's say, search engine optimization, ensuring that our product features are very simply, kind of crystally kind of communicated, so the average layman can kind of understand what he's buying. We have started doing a lot of very very simple, I would say, uh, product feature led demos and amplified that on social media. And we ourselves are very, very surprised that they are largely more educational videos. They are on why you need to buy health insurance, what is the right cover that you need to buy health insurance for. If you want to make a claim, what all are the things that you need to do so that your claim kind of gets processed. And we are finding that these videos are actually getting massive organic traction because customers are wanting to know, that once that I bought this policy, how do I kind of make the best use out of it.
Right.
So we are using the digital reach that is there, like I said, for education, for communication, for ensuring that the whole purchase process and the payment process becomes seamless, the renewal process becomes seamless. So that's broadly, our approach.
So you have been gathering so much of information, and you are seeing actual changes through whatever campaigns that you are doing. Are you witnessing a real behavioral shift in smaller markets towards proactive health insurance adoption? And how is that influencing both your messaging and distribution strategy?
So I think I would say, especially post lockdown, uh, it's the smaller markets that are exhibiting, kind of the highest growth rates. And that's there true for a lot of reasons. Because I think lockdown kind of introduced a bit of a work from home culture. While that has kind of died down and so on, that kind of ensured is that a lot of people who were otherwise working in the large metros kind of migrated for at least a brief time in the smaller markets. Uh, because of digital, we find that today the person in the small town actually has got the same information as somebody in a large metro. He or she actually has more time because they're not traveling so much as we do in large metros to kind of consume that content, and therefore the level of aspiration is the same, if not higher, in a smaller metro. And this is true across kind of categories. Uh, in the case of health insurance, in the case of motor insurance, where we see increasingly even more cars, more two-wheelers are being sold in the larger markets because there's more roads, there's more affluence kind of happening there. So all of this is kind of leading to greater growth in insurance products. If you in fact go across on an international flight, you will see that the nature of people from India who are traveling have dramatically changed. Right. So 10 years ago, you would largely see people largely from the top 6, 7 metros, the larger metros would really be, traveling out. Today, and, you see that the people from really small towns, and they are aided by travel agencies which have come up, which are organizing these group tours and so on, who are actually, helping people travel abroad. And all that again is leading to, let's say, growth of more travel insurance policies being sold. So the number of categories and smaller niche categories in insurance being sold are increasing. That's one. And smaller towns, I think, are actually the future kind of growth engines of our country, not only for this category.
It seems like SBI has its roots in smaller as well as larger market now.
Yeah, so see, at SBI, the bank, they have a very clear mission, which is to be the banker to the nation. At SBI General Insurance, our clear goal and focus is that how can we kind of help the people of India and the institutions of India, manage their risk better. Because I think while all of us, as India is a young country, the median age is 28, mostly all of us are focused on returns. There's money flowing from bank accounts to mutual funds and so on and so forth. And we are very growth focused. How do we get better jobs? How do we get more?
Yes.
It's all about returns. But equally, I think we are living in a world which is far, far more volatile than what, let's say, our parents would have faced, right? Just 5, 6 years ago, we had a lockdown and now again there is one war, and small events or events in other parts of the world, because we are living in such a connected world now, are impacting everything.
True.
Right? And therefore, it is really, really important to put aside some attention, some portion of your money to manage risk. Because, otherwise the downsides can be, like really, bad for everyone.
So in the coming years, how are you planning to evolve your marketing, and what additional changes will we be able to see? Any lessons from previous year that have shaped these targets?
So, if I look at it at a macro level, what happens is that if the economy grows at X, let's say 6, 7, 8%,
Yes.
The general insurance category typically will grow at 50% to 70% faster than the economy.
Oh.
Right? So as we know, India for the next 20, 30 years is really poised to, grow our economy to be, we already, I think, number 4 or 5 to become the top 3 economies of the world, right? And the growth rate projected is 6 to 8% for the economy as a whole. The general insurance category, therefore, like I said, will grow at a 50 to 70% faster than the economy. So it's one of the large kind of categories in India which is poised to grow faster than the economy. Within that, at SBI General Insurance, we have a clear direction from our board to grow faster than the market itself or the category. So we will therefore, our objective is to really, really kind of grow fast. But we want to be very, very conscious of how we are growing. What do we mean by that? We want to be conscious that we have a complete kind of product portfolio which has very, very simple products, because so that people who are entering into taking health insurance can take a no frills product and pay what the basic premium is, so that they are protected. That's one. Ensure that the pricing of our products is kind of competitive, because India is a very price competitive market, and we want more and more people to take health insurance. From a marketing and a communication point of view, like I said, our goal is to ensure that the product benefits are communicated both to our channel partners and agents and also to the customer. And what we want to also want to educate the customer about is, simple things that he or she needs to do at their end to ensure that the whole claims process becomes smooth, which is like, if you have any health condition, please declare the same in advance. No, please go to a network hospital, because there you will get the best service, because he's part of our network. Know in advance as to that if there's an emergency, what's a neighborhood nearby hospital that you need to go to. Do you have the number of that saved up? Very, very simple things which can ensure that the process for that customer becomes smooth and seamless. But like I said, I think the future is bright, and like I said, risk management is as important as return management, because like I said, we are living in a volatile world, and today any kind of untoward thing can just take away all so many years of kind of hard work. So therefore, risk management, whether it is via health insurance, whether it is managing ensuring that your car is kind of insured, ensuring your property is insured, basic stuff like that will kind of go a long way to combine kind of prosperity for everyone.
Oh, seems like SBI has a lot to look forward to, and we can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
So all the best to you and SBI, and thank you so much for being.
Thank you so much for